We are back in the garage again. It is Saturday, the 4th of October. It's about 6:20. I wanted to try get in here and do some work a bit early, but woke up a bit late and then had to go out, do some shopping, get some things and whatnot, and then had some lunch and then just sat and relaxed for a bit. But in today's video, tonight, I want to at least cut these down to the right size. I think like 200mm roughly is the width of that. Cut two pieces of this at 200mm. But it took me a while to do that 10mm plate, so I think this is going to be a pain in the ass to do. So if I at least get those two cut, I'll be happy for tonight. Depending on how well that goes, I might do some more, just see how I feel. The things I got while I was out at the shops is some more cutting discs, because that's currently my last one. I got some more of those because I thought I'd probably need them to cut up the 50mm round bar. But yeah, I'll probably set it up on the bricks again like I did the 10mm plate. And then I'll mark it out and then cut it up. So I'll set you up for a time lapse and I'll do all that. So I just finished cutting that first bit of 50mm solid bar, and they went pretty good. Very happy with how that came out. It's got a little bit of a burr in the middle. Clean up the outside edge. Got this bit now, which can't get in there because it's slipped down a bit, but one of those bits are in there. So it didn't take very long at all. It was pretty easy, so I'll probably cut the other bit that's going to go in here, and then I'll measure this width on the inside here just to double check. Then I'll cut the little bit that will go on the thing for here. I'll cut two of those actually, one for the short bit and then another one for the other one that I'm going to make that's got the little bit of extension, so it's a bit longer. And then I'll cut another one bit longer than the overall width of the 24mm once it's been into the 180. And then that should be all the cutting for the 50mm bar done. And then once that's done, I might just sort of clean up the edges, finish welding this possibly, and then maybe cut out the small sections of this tube that I need to make the adapters from here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more bits of this round bar to cut out. And then I'll be back once I've done that. finished cutting out the rest of those pieces. This is all of them here. Got these two long ones for these two holes. We've got these two short ones. One of them is going to be the short bit that'll press down here and bend the bar, and then the other one's going to be the same thing but just the extension. And then we got this slightly longer one that's going to press the kink into it once the 180's bent. And then we've got all our tube cut off, so just try and set it out. So this short bit of tube is going to be on here like this, and then that'll be the first bit to press the 180. And then in one of the previous videos how I was thinking it's going to hit on the top of the press before it's completely bent. That's why I got this longer bit. So it's just a longer bit of tube, and then I cut this bit which should hopefully slide down in there, and then just space it up so that'll be sitting on there like that with this tube covering it, and then the bit on the press will go in here with the nut to hold it in place. And then this other short bit will go in here, and then that's to press the little kink into it. But yeah, pretty happy with how all these came out. It wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be to cut up this 50mm bar, so that's pretty good. What I'll probably do now is just set up another quick time lapse and just sort of smooth off all these faces where I've cut, and then just take off the little burr on the edges on all of them. And then after I do that, I'll come back and I'll probably put a bit of weld there on all the corners. Don't think I need to do all the way, just short little section at the top and the bottom will do. So I'll smooth off all these cuts and get rid of the burrs, and I'll come back and finish welding that up. And then, what's the time? It's about 7:45. Yeah, once I do all that, I'll probably call that for tonight. So yeah, I'll set up the time lapse and clean up all these pieces. Alright, so I got all these pieces cleaned up. A few of them, they're like that, the end bit. Just sort of cleaned it up the best I could. But all the cuts cleaned up pretty well. These two bits in there are done. Beautiful. We got these. Another one was the end bit. Two short bits. Nice. Oops. And the tube. I did it on one of them. This one here, I can just see. Sort of filed that little bump down, I still got to do it to this long one and this other short one, as you can see. These long ones cleaned up nicely, and this one is good. And I just did it on one just to test fit and see if this fits in there. Fits like a glove. Nice tight fit. Got those all cleaned up, and then obviously got this one cleaned up. So that's eventually just going to sit inside this one, and it'll sit on top of all that. And another one of these short ones will sit on top of this other short little bit, and this last short one will sit on top of this wider bit, like that. And those two in there, and then, as I've said, these two bits will obviously come down in the middle here, and then press it into a 180, or hopefully enough that I can sort of then get it enough and then sort of sit it here like that, and just, because it'll probably spring back a little bit, I'll just sort of sit it like that and then press down up here and sort of probably press it over 180 just a little bit, so then it sort of springs back to 180, or as close as I can get it. But yeah, happy with all these pieces. So I'll move them out the way, and then pull these out. So now I'll just set this bit up to weld it. I think I might sort of clamp it in the vise, just so it's not sort of doing a weld on a wall. I'll have it up like this so it's flat, and then just go psh, 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 on both sides. Yeah, I'll probably set you back up on the toolbox. Then I'll probably do it in real time again. But yeah, I'll set you up there, and I'll be back once I'm ready to weld this up. Alright, so I got the camera set up and the steel mounted in the vise. I'm just getting the lens ready. Flip this down, we'll start welding. Pretty good, pretty good. Just bring you in to show you the first one that I've done. That I reckon that looks pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Not an expert on welding, so it's probably not perfect, but it's perfect for what I need it to do. Set you back up here. I don't know if I really need to for this, but I'm just going to flip it over so I don't get too much heat all on this one side to start with. Just got to remember that that'll be hot, so don't go grabbing it there. Alright. So I'll flip this down and I'll keep welding. hopefully the fan on that welder turns off soon. But we've got all these welds done. I can't remember which one was my first one, but I showed it in the video. This one right here, I reckon probably looks the best, most consistent. So that one, sort of see, just after the star sort of goes a bit skinny, but then the rest stays right. And then at the end it sort of, I ain't done that on most of them. I don't know exactly why it's doing that, but that one sort of looks like a big blob there, and blob there. Goes a little bit skinny in two spots. That one down the bottom sort of goes skinny in the middle a bit. Spin this around. That one doesn't look too bad. That one there doesn't look too bad. That one, I think on that one, right at sort of from the bottom of the screen there up, I think I started moving a bit too quickly. And on this one, that end bit looks very sort of skinny. I think on that one I had it was clamped tight, and that's where that was sitting, and this knob down the bottom was sort of hitting on this side bit here. So I think on that one I had my arm resting up on this, and it was not the most stable spot to rest it, so I think that's why that one went a bit weird towards the end. I think it was that one. It was one of them anyway. I noticed it went a bit weird. It could have even been that one maybe. But yeah, don't look too bad. Very pleased with them. There we go, the welder's turned off. Especially that one. That one looks pretty mid. Try to get it in the light more. That one, I reckon that one looks pretty good. I'll flip it up. Oh. Yeah, that one looks pretty good, I reckon. I think that one is the one I started to move too quickly on at the end there, and I think it was that one that I was resting my hand on that thing for the vise and got a bit wobbly. They definitely aren't perfect, but they'll hold it together. The only thing now is I probably have to gonna grind these flush so it actually fits in that thing for the vise, because it was pretty tight fit before, and these sort of come out a little bit. Don't think I'll do that tonight. It's getting a bit late, ready for a shower and rest in bed. But yeah, very happy with how these welds came out. In the next one I'll grind all these flush so that fits in there, and then these are obviously finished and done. So that will be that bit finished. Grind those flush in the next one, and then all that's ready. And after I do that, I will take this glove off a bit easier. I gotta notch all these tubes to fit on this pipe. Notch these tubes to fit on this solid bar, I should say. So gotta notch these. all three of these. Oh, that's heavy. That one. Gonna notch these 3 tubes to fit somewhat nicely around here. Obviously this one's gonna have this insert in there. So next one, grind these welds flush so it fits in there. Notch these tubes and then weld them to the bar. And then after that we'll be ready to bend up some of that 24mm bar. And then once that's bent up, we'll start welding it to that. And then after it's, we'll tag it to that first, and then with some scrap, possibly this bit, I guess we'll have to make up the little gussets, and then tack the 24mm to this with all the gussets in place, and then weld it all out. And then it'll be time to drill the holes in the concrete, bolt those to the ground, and then we can winch it up. So hopefully by next weekend the new Skyline's in the garage. Don't know if I'll do any more work this weekend. I might do a little bit. Got some other things on, but if I have time I'll do a little bit more this weekend. But if not, I'll see you probably one afternoon after work and we'll get back into it. See you then.